Coming up, I'm going to do a channel review in the theme of a roast. Normally, when I do one of these paid channel reviews, I have a lot of equivocation. I'll say things like, you don't have to listen to my advice, and I try to be nice. I try to not hurt the feelings of the person whose channel I'm reviewing, and I try to say like, oh, I'm trying to be constructive. Not today. Today's something a little bit different. So for today's paid channel review, the request was that I do a roast of their channel. So goodbye, Mr. Nice Clown. All those caveats are going to be out the window. I'm just going to savage this channel because that's what's been requested. And so if you're interested in getting a paid channel review or roast, feel free to message me either on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and we can work something out. It's pretty cost effective. Depending on how busy my schedule is, I charge the cost of like 2 or 3 Big Mac meals at McDonald's. So it's pretty cost effective. And what you get is a 45 to 60-minute video full of action items for your channel, either in the nice version of a channel review or in the maybe not so nice savage version that you're about to see as a roast. But you'll get a bunch of action items. We'll also link to the channel being reviewed in the info card, end screen, and description. So with that out of the way, let's just dive right in. I'm going to start the clock in a second, and let's just see what's going on with this particular channel. And it's against my Canadian nature, but I'm going to try and just kind of be blunt, savage, to the point. And so here we go. My first ever channel roast. So the name of the channel is RichKat Ranch, which is kind of weird. So I think that's it there. And I like to do these reviews or roasts by searching the channel, because then I get sort of a first impression. I have not looked at the channel before this. My first thought is that name is weird. So, you know, my first thought is just like, you're rich and you're bragging. Okay. Maybe that's why they could afford the channel review. I don't know. And cat, that's not like a kitty cat. So I'm thinking that it's somebody named Catherine maybe, or Katerina, something like that. And that makes me rethink the whole rich thing. So maybe Cat is rich, or maybe it's like her and somebody named Richard, something like that. That makes me concerned that it's like a couples channel. I hate couples channels because couples channels can be about anything and they never seem to know what they're about. And so I'm being savage here. So, you know, full disclosure, I don't like couples channels because they seem to just be kind of about themselves and their own personality. That doesn't necessarily add value to an audience. And it has like very little SEO. And what if something goes wrong with that relationship? So couples channels, not my thing. If you make it work, all the more power to you, but definitely not my thing. And so what I'm thinking is that maybe these are ranchers. Maybe they have a farm or something somewhere, and it's gonna be Richard and Katerina or Catherine or something like that. That's my guess so far, but I really don't know. And just a couple quick notes before I go too far into this roast / channel review. My YouTube, and because it's a roast, I'm gonna try and be all like arrogant and stuff. My YouTube's better than yours for a few reasons. One, I've got premium. And so I don't have to deal with watching ads, yet I still support the channels that I watch through premium. So that's based on like a monthly thing. So that's one thing that's different. You'll notice in the top corner it says premium, not YouTube. I also have it in dark mode because that saves energy. It's a little easier on the eyes. So that's my thing. But I also have TubeBuddy, the browser extension, installed. And not only that, I'm so much better than you. This feels unnatural. I'm so much better than you. I got a legend plan. So that's how awesome I am. And let me know in the comments if you think that this, whole roast thing is a good style for channel reviews. It feels very uncomfortable for me so far, but I'll try to keep with it. So anyways, because I have TubeBuddy, and maybe you don't, and if you don't, go get it. I mean, just at least get the free version. You get a lot of this functionality even with the free version. And, if you have the means, I highly recommend getting, the legend level, which is great. There's other tiers as well. Each tier gets you a little bit more. Legend is the way that I went, because I don't do things in half measures. I go whole hog. And so, and so I'm looking here at the score for the channel name. It actually comes up as a good, which surprises me because I don't think this channel name is very good. I mean, it might tell me a little bit about what it's about because it has ranch in there. That's a clue. But otherwise, it's kind of a clueless name because it doesn't tell me anything. And so the fact that it's scoring a good is kind of surprising, but you'll notice the search volume is poor. No one is searching for this channel. And so the only reason that it's scoring a good is because there's also no competition for the name. Nobody else is using the name. And so that is sort of interesting. Like if you look, the 2 results, I get the channel and I get a video from the channel with 14 views on it. So, whatever. And then after that, it's just random stuff that it's recommending to me from CNN and some website I've never heard of before. So, like, it gave me 2 results in my search, and then it just freaking gave up. And so YouTube's like, screw you, I'm out of here. Clonk, 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 slam the door. And it's just like, how about just some random recommended stuff? And that's interesting because this channel, it says it has 111 videos. That's a lot of videos. Why is search only showing me 1 of them? That makes me think that the SEO in terms of the channel name on the videos is not great, but given that it's kind of not a great name, maybe that's a good thing. Looking at the profile picture here, it looks like a couple of ducks, a duck and a chick or something. So that ties into the ranch thing, which makes me think, maybe they're farmers, 4-H, something like that, agricultural, whatever. And they're probably, raising animals for slaughter and consumption. So vegans be warned, I don't think you're going to like it from this point forward. But who knows? Maybe they're, raising them to be pets, which is also kind of problematic. So I do have this one video here as well that's coming up in the search results. And let's just talk about this thumbnail for a second. One thing that they did kind of good is they do have this sort of like white outline around the thumbnail. So if that is a thing that they're doing consistently, then that can be good for brand recognition. But after that, it kind of falls apart. So for one thing, the text, it's sort of aligned center in the sense that it's not aligned, justify right or left, but but the whole text thing is off to the side. And it's actually off to the side in a way that's covering the picture of the food. And it's talking about, cooking. So that seems weird to me. So, if you're going to have like centered text, then center the text. But for this, I don't think that's a good idea. I think align left the text so that we can see more of the food that's being discussed. And so it's interesting. It's cooking day ! And then lowercase f for 4, and then capital pups and people. So the capitalization here is just all over the place. And the other thing is like, why is there an exclamation point there? Cooking day for pups and people. What is that? So if you're going to have an exclamation point, which I wouldn't, I don't think it adds anything. It doesn't, saying exclamation point doesn't make me excited. I don't think it'll make a random audience excited. It's just unnecessary punctuation at this point. And putting punctuation in the middle of a sentence like that, an exclamation point ends the sentence. So just get rid of that. Capitalizing cooking day and pups and people, that's fine. The capitalization is not that big of a deal. It's the punctuation, really. Get rid of the exclamation point and just send all the text to the left, and then maybe I can kind of see a little bit more about what's actually being made. And it's funny because I'm looking at it, and it looks like it's maybe got some spinach or broccoli or lettuce or something, and cheese, maybe with some potatoes. I don't know. The thing is it actually looks kind of appealing. But like the fact that you're cooking for pups and people, am I looking at dog food? Are you tricking me into being like interested in dog food? I don't know. So that's an interesting thought. But so just some initial thoughts on that thumbnail, because it just happened to be right there in front of me. And I'm going to be lazy, so I'm just going to go as I see things. We've got the channel description that comes up, and no, just stop. You're just no. Welcome to RichKat Ranch. You haven't said anything yet. You've had a whole sentence where you haven't said anything. No one, and I don't care what TubeBuddy says, no one is searching welcome to. And if they are, they're not looking for this. Maybe they're looking for some animated text they can use or something. Or it's going to be welcome to and then something else. But nobody's just searching welcome to. TubeBuddy might say different, but I strongly disagree. If people are, it's a mistake and an accident. And if they are, they're not looking for channels. Nothing like this anyways. So saying welcome to RichKat Ranch in text does nothing. You are wasting space. Don't be a waste of space. Use the space. The first 100 or so characters is what will display here in search results of your channel description. Now, the problem is YouTubers big and small forget that channel descriptions exist. My theory is that when people are creating their accounts, videos. It's almost like creating a dating profile or something. I don't think anyone enjoys it. If there is a person out there who gets super excited about creating a profile for themselves, I don't think I want to meet them. Like, is there someone going, ooh, I get to write a description about myself today? How wonderful. Like, that doesn't make anyone's day. It's ridiculous. And so the thing is that when you're going to create your channel, nobody's excited about that part. And it's understandable, but you got to think about it, and you got to think strategically about it. You got to think about search engine optimization. And if you don't know anything about SEO, you should just, I'm like, this is a silly thing to say, but stop watching this video and immediately go watch my trilogy of videos that explain search engine optimization so you can write effective titles, description, and tags for your videos. But when you're creating this, you're probably first creating your channel. You don't know anything about YouTube yet, and that's fine. That's understandable. We were all kind of stupid at the beginning, and that's fine. But, you know, after you've produced over 100 videos, there's no excuse for that anymore. So you got to go back and look at your channel description with SEO in mind, and also these critical characters. It's like when you're crafting a tweet or the text on a TikTok or something where you have very few characters, and you need to make them count. So in particular, the first 100 or so characters on your channel description, you need to make count. And this first sentence is a waste. The one thing about the first sentence that is a little good, you did work the channel name in there, which does help with keyword alignment for SEO on your channel name. However, and again, I don't think that your channel name is a searchable term that people are using, so that's not great. So sure, keep the channel name in there somewhere, maybe not in the first 100 characters, because they can already see the name of your channel. So I get to see it twice. What does that do for me that you're repeating it? It doesn't do anything. It doesn't add value. So it says, we are located on 2 acres in Southlake, Texas, near Fort Worth. Okay, now you're telling me something. I had to wait till the second sentence, but now you're telling me some things. And so we are located, I would just cut that out. And you could say, like, I don't know, you could say something like coming at you from 2 acres in Southland, Texas, near Fort Worth, something like that. We are located is fine, but again, it feels like I'm reading a bland, generic profile, something that's almost been written by like a bureaucrat or something. It doesn't feel like a person in that sort of accessible way. But it's fine. The second sentence is fine. You could probably leave it the way it is. We invite you to enjoy our... That's where that ends. So a few things. Again, we invite you to, that is filler. That is rhetorical filler. That's the text equivalent of saying and ah, basically. And so, of course, I immediately then say but one thing that this is doing well is it does have a drop-off that might intrigue someone possibly. We invite you to enjoy our what? Could create some curiosity. But the problem is that you haven't really given me a lot of information or anything to be excited about yet. Okay, you're on a ranch. You've got 2 acres. It's in Southlake, Texas, which is apparently near Fort Worth, which is, I've flown through Fort Worth Airport, so okay. But I still don't really necessarily know exactly what your channel is about. I know from this other video in the search results that, yeah, it could be about cooking for animals and humans. Is it the same food? Ugh. That's not fantastic thought, but I guess we're all mammals, I suppose. I would say like a little bit more about what you provide. Is this educational? Is it entertaining? I think that's an early question that YouTubers should ask themselves, or wherever you are in your journey. Am I trying to entertain or educate? And it's possible to do both, but sort of what's the primary thing? Because if you're trying to educate from a SEO standpoint, from an algorithm, search traffic, things like that, fantastic. That can be a great opportunity, and, that's a great place to start. However, if it's entertainment and purely entertainment, then you need to really make it clear, like, is it comedy that you're providing or what? So that's just something to think about early on. And just looking at this cooking day for mom, dad, and the pups. This has 14 views in a week, and I kind of see why. Yeah, cooking day for mom, dad, like, that's poor grammar for one thing. You would need like a comma after mom, and then another one after dad, for example, if it's like a list. If it was like, hey, how to cook for humans and dogs, something like that. If that's the kind of pups we're talking about. I mean, they could be seals for all we know at this point. That might be more searchable because people might want to be curious about that. And so just looking at the little bit of the description here, a cooking day for mom, dad, and the pups. You see, you punctuated it correctly in the description, so you know how. You just didn't in the title for whatever reason. Maybe laziness. I don't know. I started a batch of homemade dog food on a recent day off and decided to cook. And so it's conversational. And in the description, I find that I started to do this and then I decided to do that. In text, it comes off as kind of wishy-washy. And so if you just, again, you got to get to the point faster. And so it's like, reproduce the title, which is good for SEO. That's fine. And you could say like making homemade dog food as well as, or something like that, and go from there. The fact that you did this on your day off, no one's going to care, except maybe in the fact that it might have taken you a long time. But you can just mention that, like, oh, I spent how many hours cooking, but I was able to cook for the humans and the animals at the same time, or something like that. But they don't care that you filmed on your day off. And I don't know that they care about the relationship, that it's, mom and dad or whatever. It's the fact that it's people and that it's animals. That's what's important. And so there's that. One thing I will give you some kudos for is you closed captioned this nearly 13-minute video. So, in the style of a roast, congratulations, you have no life. But honestly, that is a lot of work, I know. And so my hat is off to you there. It's so off, it's in another room. But captioning is a lot of work and it's difficult. So I do actually really respect the fact that you captioned that. There can be some tedious work. And so I do respect that hustle. So you've got a little over 1,000 subscribers. 1,130. So it's likely that you're monetized. If you're getting the watch time, 14 views on a video, maybe not. So let's dive into the channel and take a look. So wow, a lot going on here to talk about. First off, no channel trailer. So if I came to your channel somehow and I wanted to know what you're about, and you may have noticed that's a theme, I'm trying to figure out what this is about. I'm putting in a lot more effort here because I'm on the clock than as a casual viewer would. It shouldn't be hard to figure out what you're about. It needs to be right in their face. Just make it simple. People are lazy, and if you can use that to your advantage, then you'll be in a better position. And so having a channel trailer is a really easy way, an effective way of getting some additional views and watch time, for one thing, because it'll autoplay when people land on your channel, which is kind of sneaky and a little whatever, but people are used to it, and it's the way the platform works, so you kind of get a free pass. Like, I hate going to websites and like an ad or anything with sound will autoplay. I despise it. But on YouTube, when it comes to channel trailers, that's just the accepted nature of the platform. So you get a free pass on that. I do it with my channels, you can with yours too, and it's not that hard. So to make a channel trailer, I recommend making a video that's about 30 to 90 seconds long and just have it be a sizzle reel of some of your best moments, assuming you have any. I'm not good at this roast thing. Anyways, assuming you have it. So think to yourself, grab a notepad or something and just sort of sit for a second and think, okay, what are some of the cool things that have happened in my channel that I've actually captured on video? And it doesn't have to be elaborate. You don't have to have a whole narrative, although that's good if you can. But it doesn't have to be a big deal. Just jot that down and then just go and put those little clips together in a quick little thing. And then in terms of the sound, because that's the visuals we're talking about, but in terms of the sound, you've got a couple of choices. For one, you could just let the original audio be in its place. If the original audio is fantastic and good, then that's fine. Just keep the levels, kind of normalized throughout the video. You'd be fine. Another thing you can do is have replace the original audio and just play some music. Now, if you're looking for a place to get music, I recommend Epidemic Sound. A lot of those no copyright music channels out there are scams. They will tell you they're no copyright, you'll use it, and then boom, you get a content ID match, and suddenly all your revenue is going to these liars. Now, I'm not saying they're all like that, but there have been enough that I frequently see in our Facebook group. People will constantly be saying, like, I used this music's supposed to be free, and now I'm getting content ID matches, and they're taking my revenue. So there's enough of them that I've noticed the trend. I do not trust those channels. Who do I trust? I trust Epidemic Sound. They've got a huge selection of music and sound effects. Now, I'm actually really lucky. On my channels, I've got a guy that writes music for me, which is awesome, but most people don't have that, and I went for the longest time without that. So for those of you who don't have a musician who writes good music, Epidemic can be the solution. But I still use Epidemic for sound effects. Their sound effects are amazing. So check that out, and you can get a free month with the link in the description. It's an affiliate link. And what you can do, I recommend, is put out your channel trailer during that free month so you can maximize the advantage. In case you happen to never get the subscription, which is like $12 a month, so like get over yourself and get it. But if for some reason you can't afford that, and my condolences if that's the case, but at least then you can use that whatever video you upload during your free month, you own the rights to that video forever. And so maximize it, like get your free month and then just put out like 30 videos, something like one a day if you can pull it off. But make sure that one of them is your channel trailer. So that way you don't have to deal with that music problem, at least for your channel trailer, and it doesn't actually have to cost you anything. So that's kind of like the sneaky way of doing that. And then you can go forward. Now, I want to be clear, though, just because you used it in a video doesn't mean you can use that music again when you don't have a subscription. It's about when the video is uploaded, you get the rights to the video, not necessarily the music in the future. Just to be clear on that, if that's something that you want or need to use. I'm not going to be watching any videos today. That's not part of what I do for the channel reviews or, I guess, the roasts. And so I honestly don't know about your music situation. And also, I try to make these videos useful for a lot of people. So some of this advice might not apply to you, might be a little bit more generic, but I think a lot of people see themselves in these reviews. And I get a lot of feedback from people. They're like, look, I saw your channel review of, this person over here or whoever, and I made improvements based on that, even though you weren't talking about my channel. So hopefully there's value here for everyone. Channel trailer, just do it. Now, if you're looking for some inspiration on how that can be done, because another thing, I said there were 3 ways you could do the sound. The first one was the original audio, second is music. The third one is you can do a voiceover. Grab yourself a microphone and record yourself maybe explaining what the video is about, and you can have that sound maybe with the music or on its own over top your video clips. And so there's a couple different approaches you can take. My approach is the 30 to 90 second video. You can check out Vacation Impossible, and we've got a trailer there where I did exactly that, and feel free to let it inspire you. Please do not copy everything I say and don't copy any of my videos, but if it inspires you, then that's a good place to start. If it doesn't speak to you, if you don't think that that's a way that works well for you, if you have a lot of content and a lot of diverse content, then check out Pat the NES Punk. And if you go to his channel and see his channel trailer, he has a much longer one, but he has several shows that are established and have a large audience that he explains very quickly. And so I think between those two options, check those two out, and hopefully between that experience, something will inspire you to create yours. And so then when people land to your channel page, they're not bored. They get to see some videos and some sound right away, and you get some of those free watch minutes and views. So secondly, your banner here is just a picture. It's just a picture. So it's like no effort went into this. I mean, maybe you color corrected it. I don't know. And I mean, hopefully you took the picture. There's a lot of people out there with channels where they just like Google search something and use that image, and that's a whole other thing. So hopefully this is your picture. I assume it is. But the picture again doesn't tell me a whole lot. It tells me you got a couple of horses, presumably. Presumably they're your horses. I think I see a basketball in the, or I don't know, is that a large nut? I don't know what I'm looking at there. So the banner is relatively plain. And so it's good in the sense that it tells me you got some horses, and it's probably like sort of an outdoor ranchy sort of show. But it doesn't tell me much more than that. And since it's just a picture, it doesn't feel like it has any professional work that's gone into it. And so it feels kind of lazy. It's a lazy banner. It's a fine picture, but like, one of the two horses, the bottom half of their face is cut off. Like, it's not even framed very well for the desktop experience. So whatever image anyone out there is using for your banner, for your channel, what I recommend you do is you go find, there's some templates out there that show you all of the different resolutions that your banner will appear on, whether it's on a desktop, mobile device, tablet, game system, television, whatever. And then make sure that the critical part of your image fits perfectly in the smallest box. That way, those critical elements will appear on every platform consistently. And so you can certainly and probably should have things beyond that box so that it's a full image on other platforms. And for that, I just would say watch out for any of those lines. Because if that line is cutting down somebody's face, make sure that's intentional and you're okay with just half of the person's face showing on certain devices. And absolutely, if you have any text, make sure that those boxes do not cut across any words. That's just some advice for a banner. I still don't know enough about this channel to give specific advice about how to make this banner better, other than raise the image up a little bit so you're not chopping off half the face of a horse. Let's not cut off a horse's face in your banner if at all possible. So there's that. Now looking down the channel here, also on the banner, I notice you have no social links. So if I go over to your About page, and I scroll down, you can have social links that will appear under the details. You haven't set that up yet. So you need to finish setting up your channel. You're not done yet. You need to go in, and that's the thing. When we're creating our channel, we want to upload a video. We want to become internet famous. We want to make money. We want to do whatever it is. We want to reach people, share our message. Whatever it is you're there on YouTube to do. And writing a description and doing these technical things is probably not part of the fun. But it is some of the work that you got to go and put in if you want your channel to be taken seriously and to find its audience. And so I see here that you say, follow us on Facebook, and you got the contact us. Okay, so that's interesting. So you, at the very least, can have a social link to your Facebook that you can make appear in your banner if you set it up properly, where people can actually just click on it. And so, again, it looks more professional. It looks like the profile is fully filled out. And if you're active on more than one social media platform, probably more likely you're serious about this, and it's not just some girl who happens to like horses uploading random stuff. This is hopefully something that it has a little bit more effort into it, because if you want your audience to take you seriously and to follow you and watch your videos, like, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff, maybe click your affiliate links or whatever, then, you know, you got to put some of the effort in and give them that value. And so that shows effort. And that kind of thing people take note of, either consciously or, you know, sort of unconsciously, subconsciously. I think because I am a YouTuber and I'm operating in this space, and I do YouTube consultations, channel reviews, I help YouTubers, these are things I'm a little bit more conscious of. But I think that when we go to a professional channel and we go to something that was just set up without a lot of effort, we feel the difference, and we don't necessarily articulate it or think it. We feel it. And so we don't spend our time on it because we don't think it'll be a good investment. If someone didn't spend a lot of time investing in what they're creating ostensibly for us, then why would we spend much time on it ourselves? Let's see, you've got your view email address here. And so if I click on that and say I'm not a robot, because I'm not a robot, it looks like it's the same email address. Okay, so here's a couple things going on. One, you've got the same email address twice, but up here it's not clickable in your channel description. Same goes for this Facebook link. If you add a proper social link for Facebook, it'll be clickable. And again, what are you expecting someone's going to copy and paste this in today's world where you like nanoseconds are precious? Nobody's got time for that. Forget that. No one's going to do that work. So this is just a waste of space right here in terms of the follow us on Facebook. Make a social link, put it down there. And so including your email here as text, I got to ask you, do you like spam? Is spam kind of your bag? Do you enjoy getting emails from like random people that aren't really people? If you do, leave it there and continue to wallow and enjoy your spam. But if you don't like spam, take it out of there. You've already got it down here for business inquiries. So why is that important? What's going on? When you have it in text like this, that is just, you don't have to click on it, you don't have to prove you're not a robot or anything like I did, then there are little programs, they're known as many, they have many different names. Some of them are called spiders. But basically what they are is they're little programs that go across the internet and they try to collect anything that looks like an email address. And then they bundle like 5,000 of these emails, and then they sell them for dirt cheap on the dark web so that people can spam you. So this is unclickable. If no one's clicking on it, then you're giving it to the wrong people. You are giving it to the hackers and the spammers because it's down here in the details as well. You're making it redundant, basically. So take it out of your description. Save yourself the spam. Let's stop giving these spammers emails that they can sell. You're helping people you never met make a profit by ruining the internet. Don't do that. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And so keep it down there where people have to click on it and prove they're not a robot. And that's if they're serious. They can do that to connect with you for a business opportunity, collaboration, what have you. I mentioned earlier about Epidemic Sound. I see here that you're using the YouTube audio library and Creative Commons material. And so that can be kind of limited, but if it's working for you, great. But if you want to take your music to the next level, Epidemic Sound is a really reliable, professional way you can do that a lot of YouTubers and professional YouTubers trust and use. I notice also it says here, new videos uploaded every Wednesday and Saturday or Sunday. Is that true? Let's find out. We're going to fact check. Let's fact check this. Are you really keeping to your schedule? Are you telling the truth here? So let's go take a look at videos in the last 30 days. I'm using Channelytics, one of those fantastic features of TubeBuddy. And if you're not using TubeBuddy, at least the free version, then like you're not even trying. Like people who contact me and they're like, oh, can you help my channel? My first question is always, do you have TubeBuddy? If you don't have it yet, then I can't help you because you're not ready for my level of help, to be honest. You got to be able to do some of the work yourself. I don't know if this channel uses it or not. That's just a general statement. Yeah, you've had like 2 videos out on Halloween. November 3rd, you had a video. November 6th. So it looks like you might be kind of adhering to the schedule. However, I'll notice that you do have some days where you upload 2 videos, and then you'll have days where you have no videos. So what I would recommend against doing more than 1 video per day, when you do 2 videos in the same 24-hour period, your videos are actually competing against each other. And frankly, you're just not famous enough to be able to do that effectively. A big channel with a huge following, they can put out videos as much as they want. They'll probably get views. And you can probably think of a lot of channels out there. You know, if you're a news channel, CNN and MSNBC and whoever, they can put out tons of videos every day. But that's because they have an established audience. In the algorithm, the first hour, the first day, and the first week is incredibly important. The first hour is something that's known as view velocity, which is kind of like testing your notification squad. So who goes and how many people go and watch your video in its first hour, that very first opportunity, the people who are clamoring and can't wait for more of your content. That's very critical and a huge signal to the algorithm whether a video will be a success or failure. And the algorithm will be basing decisions on that data as to how many people they show your video to. And so the first 24 hours is sort of like the same thing. However, this factors in time zones, because what if a lot of your audience is on the other side of the planet? So giving people a full 24 hours gives them a full opportunity to get the notification, click on it, and watch the video, so that even if they were asleep or at work when your video went live, they had that chance. And that's where the first 24 hours is really critical. For the first 7 days, it gets a new tag, and that helps it as well. But in terms of what I'm talking about upload frequency, is you don't want to have more than one upload within 24 hours, because then they're both competing for those notifications. And we all know that notifications on YouTube don't really work right. Notifications on YouTube haven't worked consistently for years. Even when you say notifications on and set to all, you often frequently don't get those notifications. Even when you tell them, you beg YouTube, tell me every time, and they're just kind of like, well, we've got algorithms that will decide for you. We know better than you what you really want. And that's why a lot of people also follow accounts of their favorite channels on Twitter, because if they can set notifications on Twitter where they actually will be told if the channel tweets about it that there's a new upload, and that's far more reliable. And some people have email lists that they can send to, and that can also be a lot more reliable as well. So if you don't have Twitter, and I see no evidence here that you do, I strongly suggest you create a Twitter account in the name of your channel, and then every time you upload a video, it's just a couple of clicks to tweet about it. And so that's another sort of notification method and another opportunity to find an audience. And it doesn't take a lot of work. You can sign up for Twitter, quickly put your profile together, and after that, you just kind of click a couple of times every time a video goes up. You can do more on Twitter if you want. You can learn about it and use effective hashtags and all that stuff. But if you don't have the time for that, then at least use it as another notification method of reaching your audience. And so that important 24-hour time frame that I was talking about and notifications is why you don't want to upload more than 1 video per day. So take one of those 2 videos from Halloween and instead upload that on a day that you otherwise would not have an upload go. And also, I am not a fan of having a publicly stated upload schedule. I don't think it helps. I think it actually hurts. I think it hurts in a couple of ways. I think it hurts your subscriber count. Because if people can rely on your video coming out on the same day, like I used to watch when it was in new episodes, a show called James and Mike Mondays with Cinemassacre. They've got 3 million subscribers. However, the video always came out on a Monday. So if I really want to watch this show, if I'm obsessed with this show, and for a couple of years I was, did I need to have notifications on? No, I just needed to know it was Monday. If it was Monday, get home from work, have dinner, whatever, and then grab my tablet and go to the channel, and there it was. But if the upload schedule is not as clear, the uncertainty actually provides an incentive to your audience to subscribe with notifications on, because then they'll know, or they'll be more likely to know as much as the notification system allows, when those videos go up. And so it provides an incentive. And one of the metrics that YouTube looks at, not just your subscribers, but how many have notifications and have them set to all. And so by not having a public upload schedule, you have a bit of a mystery, and that means people need to subscribe. It provides an incentive to them. By having a public upload schedule, you are disincentivizing subscriptions and setting notifications to all. And the other reason that I mention this is sort of mental and physical health. Having a publicly stated upload schedule puts pressure on you to meet that schedule. And if you don't, then you feel bad. And now all of a sudden, people are starting their videos with 20-minute apologies for missing their upload schedule. And no one goes on the internet and says, God, I want to watch an apology today about somebody not meeting an arbitrary deadline that they set for themselves. And of course, you've probably seen those memes where it's like, it's a picture, it's like literally everyone and like nothing's happening. And then it's me like, I'm so sorry, I didn't upload on time. I know you're upset. And like literally everyone still doesn't care, just sitting there. And so none of that's a good look. And so, like, take the pressure off yourself and also your physical health. What if you get sick? What if you are not physically able to upload? Are you going to drag yourself out of bed or, heaven forbid, the hospital so that you can go and upload something and risk your health and have your recovery time take longer? That would be incredibly dumb. So that's another reason why I really strongly, as you can tell, I am strongly opposed to public upload schedules. I know that is an unpopular opinion, and a lot of people are like, oh, consistency. Have secret consistency. Have consistency that people don't know about. Because then they have a reason to subscribe, and you take some of the pressure off yourself. I'm on the description here, so let's just take a look. Okay, we invite you to enjoy our small homestead. Do you want people to come visit your house? And if you do, then okay, you're on your way. Publish your address. Don't publish your address. Instead, you could just say like RichKat. It's hard to say, which is one of the reasons that this channel name is problematic. But you're probably in too deep. You've already got your custom URL, so like you're committed to that name. You're stuck with it. But you can make it work. But you could say RichKat Ranch is 2 acres in South Lake, Texas, near Fort Worth, where our homestead has 3 German Shepherds, 5 cats, thoroughbred, blah, 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 blah. And then you can go from there. And so what you do is you get to the point faster. You take out all these filler words. Welcome to, we invite you to enjoy our, all that stuff. That can go, and you just get to the point faster. And I give you permission to use that, that half-assed attempt on my part to rewrite the beginning of your description. You can use it verbatim if you want. And it would be more effective than what you have here from a readability standpoint. And the thing is like YouTubers big and small, they forget about their channel description. And so, as a small channel with 1,000 subscribers, you got to take every opportunity and you got to have every advantage. And so I recommend going in and doing that. And it's interesting. You only have 6,803 views across the channel. And so that's like, and I don't believe in ratios, like view to subscriber ratio is not a thing. But I'm thinking about your video to view ratio is that's, I'm just going to do the math here as like an average. Because how many videos did you have? Like 111 or something? Let me go back here. Yeah, you had 111 videos. So that means your average view count is 61. So anything with over 61 views, you can kind of consider a success because it's above average for your channel. And anything with less than 61 views, you consider, I mean, failure is a harsh word. I know it's supposed to be a roast, but they just maybe it hasn't found its audience yet. Maybe the thumbnail's trash. Maybe the title isn't using SEO. Whatever that might be. And so that's one thing that I find useful for my Vacation Impossible channel is I'll do that same kind of thing. And so for many years, it was like 1,000 views was the average, and that's been kicking up lately. So it's like 1,100, 1,200 or something now. And so how do you define success? Well, it's better than average is an easy mathematical way of doing that for people who can't form an opinion themselves. And you're paying me to tell you stuff, so maybe not. I don't know. A lot of your recent videos don't hit that threshold. There's this high school reunion video, which seems to have nothing to do with what your channel is about. So that's interesting. I'm guessing the views mostly came from the people in that class. I'm guessing that the reunion had a Facebook event that maybe you shared that video to, or there's a group for the alumni of that class that maybe you shared it to. I'm guessing that's where you got those views from. Why do I know that? Because I've done something kind of similar. I've been filming since I was in high school, and so I had some old videos from high school that I put up on my channel, and they, it was not a good thing necessarily to do because I was trying to put a square peg into a round hole. I was trying to put like a video about the bad vending machines in my high school in a travel channel. And you know what? It interrupted my algorithmic momentum and I paid for it. I was able to harvest some views from, my high school, but I think on the whole, that was probably a mistake on my part. But however, it's, it's getting quite a few views. And if you've got a short here that's got nearly 1,000 views, it looks like it's a snake. It says he's huge. So that's interesting. Let's go take a look at your top performing videos. And one thing I'll point out, on your homepage, this thing, Channelytics, with the TubeBuddy browser plugin is great, but it's like a little yappy dog. You play with it for a second, it won't leave you alone. So you're going to find me closing that a lot. But you do not have your top videos showing on your homepage. And that's like the easiest thing to set up. Go into your settings and add a horizontal row of your most viewed videos. You do it once, it's there forever, and then YouTube does the work of maintaining it for you going forward. It will constantly reorder the videos as view counts change. But if you go and you add that, even if it's at the bottom of your channel, it gives someone at a glance a quick way to find out what of your videos do well, what are you known for, what have you been successful at. And so instead, let's count the clicks for how much extra work you're making me do, because you didn't set that up. You're too lazy to set that up. Okay, videos, click 1. Now I gotta click sort by, click 2, most popular, click 3, wait for it to load. It's only 3 clicks. Do you know how hard it is to get people to click 3 times on anything? It's a challenge. Try and get somebody to subscribe to your channel if they found you on TikTok or Instagram. It's about the same number of clicks, and it's real hard to motivate people to do that, let me tell you. Those conversions are tricky. Does this mean I get hazard pay? I mean, like, look at this thumbnail. You've got yellow outlined in green for some reason on a background that is mostly green and, Caucasian flesh tone. We need to learn contrast, okay? Find out what a drop shadow is. Drop shadows are fantastic. In fact, places I've been, Santiago, Chile, looks like it has a drop shadow. Drop shadows are wonderful. High contrast fonts are wonderful. If you don't know what the high contrast color is of something you're looking at, in most graphic programs, Photoshop, Corel, whatever, you can go in and you can invert it. And that's like the old days of looking like a negative of a photograph. And it will show you the opposite color. And then maybe use the opposite color as your text instead of like the same color or a very close, kissing cousin of that color. So that's something to watch out for your thumbnails. The text needs to stand on its own. If you can't get it as an inverted color, then maybe you need it to have an outline is not a bad approach, but you're kind of doing it wrong when the outline matches the background color. A drop shadow is great, and if you still can't make that work, you can create like a layer where there's like a box and then put the text on top of that box. And the box doesn't have to totally cover what's behind it. It can be like 50% opacity, just enough to make the text legible. The fact that you've gotten nearly 2,000 views on this video with text on the thumbnail that I can barely read, that's great. You can do better. And that was 3 months ago. Another thing here that I notice is that the color saturation in some of these thumbnails is low. And so that green isn't as green. And it looks like what I'm looking at here is that you got bit. And so there's some blood on the wrist. It's a little morbid, but okay, let's work with it because that will get you clicks. If you increase the saturation on this picture, the green grass will look more green and that red blood will look more red and it will pop out and stand out. Now, yes, you are slightly modifying the image. However, when you upload a picture to YouTube, YouTube has huge server farms and it's very expensive, and so they compress what they get. When they get your image, even though they want you to upload an HD thumbnail, and yes, do upload HD thumbnails, but what you need to do and consider is the fact that it will be compressed as it displays on different devices. When that compression happens, you often lose color saturation. So it might feel like you're cheating by manipulating the image a little bit, but honestly, increasing that saturation or the vibrance, those are the two settings in Photoshop that I recommend you play with by increasing 25, 50 points. Do it so that the colors pop, but make sure that it doesn't turn your skin into Play-Doh in terms of coloring. So watch out for flesh tones looking unnatural. If that happens, you've gone too far, you need to dial it back. Instead of doing saturation, try vibrance or vice versa. But when you do that, then when it compresses, the color still is rich and easily visible and pops and gets attention. And that has the potential to increase your CTR, which is your click-through rate. That's huge for the success of a video. One thing that I notice here is I saw that in the search results, you had that video that you captioned that was very long. And I see here we've got a nearly 20-minute captioned video. And over here, a 10-minute captioned video. And I gave you respect for doing that, and I'm not rescinding that, but your most popular videos aren't captioned. I mean, the reunion was 20-minute video. But you can caption a 20-minute video, but the 3-minute video that is the majority of the views on your channel you haven't captioned, just go in there and do it. In my experience, captioning a video can increase the views between 8 and 11% or more, depending on your audience. The thing is, people will often watch a video on their phone in a place where they can't listen to sound, regardless of whether they're hearing impaired or not. But also, let's make this accessible for the hearing impaired, shall we? Their clicks are just as valuable as everyone else's. But in terms of, like, if back in the good old days when you could travel, you'd be at the airport and you might be looking at your phone, and let me tell you, nothing drives me crazier than people who FaceTime or listen to a loud video on their phone without headphones. But let's say you have manners, but no headphones, and you are at the airport and you're waiting for your flight and you want to watch a quick 3-minute video about a snake bite. And this looks awesome. I want to watch this. No captioning. I'm not necessarily going to know what's going on. And so you're not getting as many clicks because of that. And so you're losing out on views, you're losing out on watch time. And the thing is, to caption a short video is easy. A video that's like 3 minutes or less is not that hard to caption. Here's the trick, really easy. You don't even have to caption the whole thing. Go in, and after a little bit of time, I'm not sure quite what triggers it. If you know what triggers auto captions, let me know in the comments. But after some time, depending on who watches it or whatever variables, YouTube will automatically create some captions. That said, it doesn't get the CC tag. What you need to do is go in and edit those captions. So you go, and instead of typing everything out yourself, all you have to do is correct the errors that YouTube's algorithm made. Its computer thought you were saying, snake, and maybe it thought you were actually saying cake. That sounds crazy, but I've had videos where YouTube thought I was swearing like a sailor, and I was like at a kid's concert or something for like the Wiggles, and no one was swearing. So that the auto captions can be a little funny, and so that almost could be its own blooper reels. Like times my auto captions went wrong. You could maybe post something about that on your community tab. I see you have your community tab enabled because you have over 1,000 subscribers. Also, recently that requirement for anyone else watching has been lowered to 500. So once you have 500 subscribers, you get the community tab. So you could post about like a screenshot of like, look at this crazy auto caption. You can get new content that way. You can go and share it on Instagram and Twitter if you were inclined. So go in and just correct the errors and save it. And when you do that, then it gives the closed caption tag so that when people are scrolling, they can see, hey, this video has captions, not just auto captions. This is stuff I can rely on. Now, what if you never talk in your video? Fine. Use some parentheses, some square parentheses, and just put music. And you can have that for the whole length of the video, and click save, and you'll still get that CC tag. Now, what is the value of that? The SEO value is squat. It gives you a micro boost in the algorithm because you've captioned it, so that's a good thing. But why would you still do that? One of the reasons is when people watch it, now they know they're not missing out. What is it? Fear of missing out, FOMO, that sort of thing. There's a strong psychological driver in people. And so if they can go and they know that, hey, they're just playing music here, so I'm not missing out, then they're still happier to watch the video. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It can make a huge impact. So I think some of your top performing videos here can do better. Now, if they're still getting views, if they're still getting more than like 100 views per month, then don't change the title, description, or tags, because that can interrupt your momentum, and YouTube will be like, whoa, hold on, I'm not sure if this is the right thing, and they might stop showing it to people. But if you are getting more than 100 per month, you can change captions and thumbnails without risking that momentum. That's fine. You can still make those changes. But if it's less than 100, maybe also consider changing title, description, and tags for better SEO. And again, we've got a trilogy of videos here. I'm not going to teach you how to do it all over again. You can go watch that trilogy. It will walk you through specific examples, how to think, tools to use, things like TubeBuddy. And if you don't have TubeBuddy, again, affiliate link in the description. At least get the free version. It'll make a huge difference. Well, the vast majority of your views come from a small handful of videos, and I think those could perform better. So you've got this shorts playlist, which is fine. And of course, over time, it'll populate more. My favorite channels, that's not even a full list because it doesn't go all the way to the end of the screen. Now, this used to be a good thing to have because you got a little algorithmic boost from it when it used to be in the sidebar. That's not so much the case anymore. And this is just driving people to channels that are not you. It is sending your audience away. I would recommend removing this My Favorite Channels. And I see you've got some created playlists here. Travels. Yeah, places I've been. This is not a travel channel. I run a travel channel. I know what a travel channel looks like. This ain't it. This is a homesteading channel. It's fine that you've had those videos out. I can understand as an artist or just as a video creator, you have diverse interests. You want to do a lot of different kind of videos, and that's fine. If you want the algorithm to work for you on YouTube, you got to stop doing that. You got to know what you are and kind of stay in your lane. It's called niching down. If you are putting out a cooking video and then a homesteading video and then a travel video and then a high school reunion video, then YouTube doesn't know what the heck you're about. It's kind of multiple personality disorder, and it kind of doesn't want to play with that. It wants channels that it knows what it's about, because then it can consistently anticipate who's going to watch your videos and for how long. And that's what YouTube loves. It's obsessed with anticipated watch time. It will show your video to potential viewers, otherwise known as impressions. It can show up in search and recommended, home pages, browse features, things like that, but not if it doesn't trust what you're about. If it doesn't know what you're about, if you're inconsistent in your subject matter, you can if you want to. If that's the kind of artiste you want to be, that's fine, but you're going to be a starving artist because the YouTube algorithm will work against you, not with you. If you decide, I'm about this, and I'm going to play here, and I'm going to just do the best I can in this particular subject, this genre, this niche, that's when you will start to get the YouTube algorithm working for you and not against you. What about travel? What about these other things? What about these other interests? It's fine to have those other interests. My recommendation, have those on other platforms or other accounts, other channels. Or also another option is you can collaborate with other channels that are in those niches. You want to talk about travel? Collaborate with a travel channel. You want to talk about, whatever else it might be that's outside of your niche, that's fine. Go and do a great job collaborating with another channel where you can mention your channel, maybe get a link in the description, the info card, the end screen, whatever, and drive traffic who might find you personally interesting and engaging. That's fine. That's how you can pursue multiple interests, either by having multiple channels or doing those collaborations or other platforms, what have you. But on YouTube models itself sort of after television to a degree. That's why they're called channels. And so if you turn into the golf channel and you get a documentary about the best churches in Europe, you're going to be like, what's happening? I mean, I guess you have to travel to play golf sometimes, but that's a little strange. But take it even further. Let's say that you turn into the golf channel and you get the latest Terminator movie. What the hell is this? This isn't what I wanted. This is what... Okay, the people who play golf or work at the golf channel like the Terminator. Good for them. I'm not on, the sci-fi channel. I'm not on the action channel. I'm on the golf channel. Where's my golf? YouTube is sort of based on that concept of the niche market for channels. Now, certainly we've had examples of channels that lost their way. The Learning Channel, MTV, things like that. That, MTV, not really about music and hasn't been for quite some time. And so that's a whole other thing. But it's the niche channel you need to think of. Don't think of yourself as ABC or NBC or Fox or whatever. Think of yourself as the Golf Channel, the Food Network, something like that. Where you're the History Channel. It's that kind of thing where you got to be that narrowly focused. You are a specialty cable channel. You are not mainstream broadcast. Because the thing is channels like ABC, NBC, etc., they came to prominence when there were only 3 or 5 channels available. They came in over the air, they were relatively free, and so they had to appeal to the masses, and the masses didn't have a lot of choice. But now, heads up, you're living in a new millennium, and so people have tons of choice, and they can pick what they want to watch. And so if you don't know what you are, if you're kind of NPD about it, then they're not going to pick you because it's going to change every week. And so sure, maybe you're hitting your upload schedule. Fantastic for you, pat yourself on the back. But if every other video is on a completely different subject matter, your audience is not going to want to come along for that journey. They're going to unsubscribe when videos come up that could be completely antithetical to what they want. For example, there are, various religions out there that have some specific rules about things that they watch. And so and I'm not saying that's what's happening with your channel, but I see it often where people don't tell people what their channel's about. They're like, go subscribe to me, bro, and support me. And it's like, yeah, but what if watching your videos is against my religion? Like, that's not a case for me personally, but it is for other people. And so it's important to let people have some knowledge about what they're clicking on before they click on it. And then once they're within your channel, try to stay somewhat within the niche. That religious example is an extreme one, certainly. I think it's easy to understand, though. But there could be people who are like, maybe I'm a homesteader and I have a ranch and it's been in my family for generations. And I learned from my father and I'm teaching my son to take over from me. And this is the most important thing in the world. And every extra penny we make, make, we reinvest back into the family business, back into the farm. Maybe we do some local marketing. Maybe, you know, we buy some more animals or upgrade a fence or a barn or something. We don't have discretionary money for travel. Maybe we don't care. Maybe we don't understand people who go and see the world. That could be part of your audience. We don't know. And so if they're here and they're like, okay, I want to see the latest thing about like how to improve my snake pen or whatever they might be wanting to do. And then suddenly it's like, here is my travel slideshow of, you know, my pictures from when I was in Ireland or something. You're going to lose them. You're going to lose them. Once you got to ask yourself, do I want to be successful or do I want to talk about whatever I want to talk about? And then it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy staying within your niche. And it doesn't mean, like I said, you can't stray outside in tactical ways. Let's see what other thumbnails you've got here. Home cooking food for dogs. Once you get, I would say, generally speaking, to put a playlist on your homepage, you should probably have about 6 videos because then on desktop, it looks full and complete and professional. So once you have a 6th video there, that might be one worth adding. You have a recipes playlist. That would be great to add. I would put it here above the shorts, below the uploads. And so put that as its own horizontal row. Rather than this created playlists, I don't think people click on those very often. Whereas if they have a bunch of videos and they're like, I want to watch that video, that's fine. Because who wants to make a 19 video commitment when they don't really know what it's about yet? The animals, I think that would make another good horizontal playlist. I think horizontal playlists are excellent. Playlists of playlists? No, doesn't work. I've experimented on my travel channel with this a lot, and consistently, when it's a playlist of playlists, nobody clicks. When it's one thing on one subject, here's my Alaska videos, here's my Hawaii videos, here's my Mexico, here's my cruising videos. That's when it starts to work and people start to click. And of course, given that you have playlists, I'm hoping you're already doing this, but on the off chance that you don't, every video you produce should be in a playlist. And videos can be in more than one playlist too, that's fine. I mean, I'm a travel channel. Let's go check out your travel playlist, which seems to have, like, the thumbnail here is actually pretty good. The places I've been, Ireland, like, it reads pretty well. It pops. You got, like, the font's pretty nice. It's getting a little covered up in the time code here when it's small. So I might, again, align left to get away from that time code issue. Might be a little bit better, but, like, that looks okay. It's a pretty compelling thumbnail. That's not bad. But there is no description of this playlist. So let's talk about SEO for a second. If you want to maximize your search engine optimization for a particular term, let's say Ireland, which is actually a bad example for your channel, but let's go with it. If you wanted to do that, you need to have Ireland in the video title, in the video description, in the video tags. You need to say the word Ireland in the video. You need to caption the word Ireland. If you can work the word Ireland into the comments, you get bonus points. If you have it in a playlist that contains the word Ireland, for example, then that's good. And in that playlist, there needs to be a description of the playlist that also says Ireland. That is when you have keyword alignment. The keyword exists in all of these places, and then suddenly, that's when YouTube is like, you know what? They said it, they captioned it, title, description, tags, playlist description, and even in the comments. You know what I think? I think that video might be about Ireland. Call it a hunch, taking a risk. But after I see it in like 8 different places, then maybe now I'm confident. And you know what? When people search Ireland, maybe I'll show them this video. Or maybe if they're watching a video in Ireland or about Ireland, maybe I'll put that on the recommended tab. Or maybe if I know they're always watching videos about Ireland, they were obsessed, why don't they just go already? Maybe when they go to the homepage, I'll put it there as a recommended video they can watch. That is how keyword alignment, which I don't know if I came up with it. I feel like maybe I did. Maybe I should trademark that. Keyword alignment really starts to work, and that's when your SEO really gets rocking. That having been said, don't do it for Ireland. Don't do it for travel. It's not what your channel is about. I'm not saying delete these videos, although maybe. I mean, sometimes I prune a video or two off of my channels when I realize they're completely underperforming and, you know, kind of not what my channel is about. And so I've done that on occasion where I've done a video about video games on my travel channel. And in retrospect, I was like, no, that just confuses the algorithm. It got like 14 views. I'm just going to delete that video. And here's one trick. If you do decide to delete videos or private them, and I'm not saying you necessarily have to, that's up to you. As much as I joke about, oh, it's a roast. I don't want to give you, like jokingly give you advice or instructions that you can't undo. Let's go to SocialBlade for a second. If you don't know SocialBlade, it's a free website. It's run by a guy named Ergo, who supports Mario Marathon and charity I support. So I like him and I like the site, but it's also useful. One reason that I came here is it shows you how many views that you're getting every day and that other people can come and look at this at any time. Sometimes it's a matter of how we present ourselves to the world. And so if a company were to come here or a person were to come here thinking about collaborating with you, I would recommend against having like a negative view count, because then people are like, whoa, did they buy views and whatever? People jump to like totally wrong, crazy assumptions. And so don't let them have that opening. So what I do is when I'm going to prune a video, I make sure that the number of views on that video is less than what I'm getting in the last 24 hours. So if I've got a video with say 50 views, but I've got in the last 24 hours 500, I can delete that and not have a negative number show up here, so it's kind of okay. It'll depress the number a little bit for that one day, but at least now that video is taken care of and gone. I've pruned it, my channel's a little bit more focused, but it doesn't look like something weird is going on in my channel. I also find it interesting here that you do have sort of a wavering subscriber count, and that can happen because, like, I see here, you gain 20, lost 10, lost 10, lost 10, gain 10, gain, like, but I wonder if you go back and you look at October 26th, was that when you put a video out that was not within the theme of your channel? Were you putting travel videos out or, high school reunion videos out from October 26th to the end of the month? And if that's the case, yeah, you might have picked up some views, but you lost some subscribers because you went outside the niche. So that's one thing that's interesting that you can see here on SocialBlade. Another thing that I think is quite telling about your channel here is the channel type is blank. So not only is YouTube confused about what your channel is, but SocialBlade's confused too. They don't know what kind of channel you're running. How does this happen and what does this mean? What generally SocialBlade does is it looks at your last 5 or so uploads and it sees what type of video you've flagged it as. Is it people in vlogs, education, travel, etc., etc.? And so it takes those last 5 or 6 videos as a clue of what your channel is about, and it will populate here under channel type. But if you have not selected the category when you upload the video, or you have been using different categories, it gets a little confused. Now, it could be, maybe you have been consistent lately, I suspect not, but if you have been, you might need to submit a ticket to get that corrected, because if you used to have many different ones, then the database gets a little stuck on that. And that happened to me with my travel channel back in the day, where I actually submitted a ticket for them to update it. After I went in and made sure every single video is categorized as travel, that's my default setting going forward. But it is interesting that the channel type is blank, because I think that speaks to one of the core issues of this channel is do you truly know what you're about? Are you committed to what you are about? Or are you just going to be about everything? Because there are variety channels out there. And yes, there's the odd one that's done well, that's been based on a celebrity, someone who already had an audience on Instagram, or because they're a movie star or something. They start a YouTube and they make whatever the hell they want. Will Smith is jumping out of a plane, Jack Black is playing video games, and they get tons of subscribers, and they don't necessarily do the technical things that you and I need to do to find success, but that's because they bought it with their celebrity. That's just one of the many free things that celebrities get. Celebrities get free stuff all the time. And so success on YouTube is kind of one of those things. All they have to do is tweet about it or mention it in an interview, talk about it on Jimmy Kimmel or something, and suddenly, boom, tons of subscribers, tons of views, tons of watch time. That doesn't happen for folks like us. We got to work harder. We got to understand the technical stuff a little bit better. That's why I'm here. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'm being harsh about it because you asked for a roast. So I'm hoping this is what you wanted. This feels very unnatural being this harsh. I'm normally sugarcoating things quite a bit more than this. But hey, it's efficient. But I think that it's quite telling that this doesn't know what kind of channel you run. And so, yeah, variety channels are very hard to, and people talk about like, oh, it used to be easier to be successful on YouTube. And yeah, like that was entirely possible, I think, for variety channels. I think there are specific channel types that could do better in the past. I think comedy and variety personality types, even couples channels, those would probably do better when there was less content available. But now that there is, and we're living under, multiple algorithms kind of running our lives, we need to make content that works with those algorithms, that considers SEO, and that has a specific focus and a niche, and that's lacking here. So thank you so much for, purchasing this paid channel review / roast. Hopefully I wasn't too harsh. The Canadian in me feels the need to apologize. And so it wasn't really I don't know that it was a funny roast, like the roast of William Shatner, where they tell jokes like you and the horse you rode in on. But hopefully this was something that you were looking for. And so anyone else who's watching, if you are interested in a paid channel review, like I said, it's not expensive. It's like the cost of 2 or 3 Big Mac meals at McDonald's, just to sort of compensate me for my time. This takes a couple of hours. I got to record and edit and upload. And what you'll get is a video that runs 45 to 60 minutes long, full of action items and suggestions suggestions on how you can improve your channel. I upload it here on Small YouTubers Boost, and I include a link to your channel in the info cards, end screen, and the description. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to message me. I don't quote a specific price because it depends on how busy I am. It's a supply and demand thing. But you can message me on Facebook, on Instagram, or on Twitter, and we can negotiate a price and set up a time and set that all up if that's something you're interested in. If you don't have the funds for that, I do free channel reviews, but those are only 30 minutes, and that's during live streams. So in order to get a free channel review, you got to have notifications set to all so that you know when I go live, because I go live without a lot of notice and without any consistencies about when I can find the time in my life. When I can find a couple of hours, then maybe I'll go live. And so you get the notification, you join us early in chat, because those free channel reviews are first come, first serve. We always have more requests than we have time. And so if you're willing to sort of gamble on that, that's the way to do it. And so you'll notice I'm incentivizing subscribing with notifications on. You don't know when I'm going to go live, but if you got notifications on, you might get something free. See what I'm doing there. It's something I was talking about earlier in the channel review. But if you don't want to take the chance, and if you want more than just the 30-minute light touch, you want something more in-depth like this, feel free to reach out to me. We can work something out with my schedule and everything. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out the other videos on this channel. I already mentioned the SEO videos are absolutely critical. I got videos that show you how to get more subscribers. So you want to get your first or second 1,000 subscribers. You want to get 100 subscribers in a month or 10 subscribers in a day. I've got videos, and each one of those have different tips that show you how to do those things. Also, if you're struggling to take the next step in your YouTube journey, I've got a video about motivation that could help you take that next step, and the one after that, so that you can continue progressing even when you feel really demotivated and it's like the last thing you want to do. So check out all that stuff. Make sure you're subscribed. Join our Facebook group if you're not already part of the community. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.